So hello and welcome to the 11th episode of the Spotlight Podcast, the unofficial podcast for Century 21 sales representatives in Canada, where we discuss the hot topics and important news in the real estate industry. So I'm your host, Linas Kilius, and with me as always is Eryn Richardson.
Hello.
Eryn is a broker and general manager with Century 21 Heritage Group. Eryn has an extensive background in online marketing, technology, and customer service. And I'm the head of business development at the real estate marketing company, Homeania. And today, we've got a very special guest, Joanne Evans, the broker-owner of Century 21 Millennium, with offices all over Southern Ontario, Brampton, Collingwood, Wasaga Beach, Thornbury, Orangeville. Did I miss any, Joanne?
No, I think you got them all.
That's good. Yeah, you guys are growing pretty fast. It's hard to keep track of them all. So when we started the show a few months back, the first person I had at the very top of my list to guest on the show was, in fact, Joanne. And it seems like fate was working against us trying to get her on the show for the past few weeks. We had some scheduling issues, some sickness. I was half expecting to wake up today to a hurricane to stop her from going on the show. But here we are. We all made it out and we're ready to roll. So Joanne, how's your week been? You've been battling quite the cold from what I understand. What was it, laryngitis?
Yes. Much to the joy of many, I lost my voice for a week. So yes, I'm making up for it this week though.
I can imagine. You got a lot of talking to do, I guess.
Yes.
Right. Well, so
but no, we're certainly enjoying a very brisk marketplace right now. Everyone is working really hard. A lot of buyer fatigue and salesperson fatigue, and even broker fatigue out there these days.
I can imagine. It seems to have no sign of slowing down too. But
no, not at all.
Being busy is always good, that's for sure, especially in this industry. So today, what we're going to be talking about on the show is we're going to be talking about office culture. So I've been to many different brokerages all across the country promoting our Spotlight program, and I've seen a wide variety of office atmospheres. But amongst those that have impressed me the most were Joanne's offices at Century 21 Millennium and Eryn's offices at Century 21 Heritage. So I figured, since we got both you guys on the show, that'd be a good thing to talk about today. Both of your offices and all the offices I've been to for both your brokerages give off that air of family, that kind of family feel, which can be difficult, especially when you've got larger offices with a number of agents. I've been to many offices too where they got that very like stodgy kind of corporate feel to it. It feels almost like, hands off, not very inviting to the agents and people like me coming in to give presentations. So we're going to be commenting on that today, I guess. So Joanne and Eryn, are there any specific things that you guys have used as strategies to kind of create this atmosphere and environment? It's obviously been very successful, both of your offices. So I'd like to hear exactly how you've accomplished this. So why don't we start with Joanne? Joanne, how do you get this great kind of feel? Obviously, it starts at the top with the brokers and the managers and kind of filters its way down.
Yes, it does. That's for sure. A broker always sets the tone for the atmosphere in your office. And I feel that I have one that's very authentic. I mean, I am a natural, very joyful, happy person. And I do consider the salespeople in my office to be my family. We all have to go to work every day by ourselves, especially my salespeople when they're out there working. But I always want them to feel like this is a safe place to come. This is where they've got people to support them, take care of them, listen to them, and help them along with whatever challenges they're facing from day to day. And, I am someone who's very welcoming. Everyone needs a hug every day. It's going to make us all live longer anyways. The more you hug, the longer you live. So I'm, certainly from the top down, that's the culture. And a lot of people who never hugged anybody in their life now go, my God, I hug everybody since I've been hanging out at this office. So I'm actually really pleased with that. A supportive environment is so important to our salespeople. It's tough out there, and they need to know there's a place for them to come for that support.
Yeah, I quickly learned you're a hugger. That's for sure. I think everyone who's met you does. So.
Well, you're part of the family.
Yeah, for sure. So, Eryn, how about you? I'm assuming a lot of that is obviously applicable to your office as well. But you have anything to add?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd like to. You start to think about what are the different things that you do, whether it be, you had said from a training standpoint and culture standpoint, it's about getting a culture coming from the top down about helping each other, right? So within our offices, we often have training sessions. We even get agents to do some training sessions to share your ideas. I do notice that and I've heard the comments at some brokerages that everybody keeps their ideas to themselves because they're afraid of people stealing ideas. Well, if you start from the top down saying, listen, we're here to help each other. Let's share some of the things that certain agents do really well. Have those training sessions and masterminds and all that sort of thing. That's where it can start, right? Joanne, do you guys do anything outside the brokerage or non-business related?
Yes, I have speakers come in. My background was before real estate that I was a psychiatric nurse. So I really do get the psychology of selling. So we've had over the years many speakers that come in and speak to our attitudes. And, I just find that along with sales process, we always need to be watching our attitudes because it has a huge impact on our business and on the clients that we work with. This is a relationship selling business. That's the model that we promote. So your relationships need to be healthy, strong, and everyone's looking for a salesperson that's got good energy. So we really like to work on a balanced, mind and business. But I really liked what you said, Eryn, about having other salespeople help with that support. We've started doing that in the past couple of years as well. It's just not my leadership, it's the leadership of our top producers for sure. And then even we find, we've had our rookie of the year get up and talk about how they started their success. And those meetings are the most well attended. Yeah. I can get up and talk and I get good turnout, but the minute that I say I've got one of my top 10 people coming to tell you, how do I get the buyer agency agreement signed? How am I dealing with multiple offers in this, market climate? We have full attendance for those. They really want to hear what their colleagues who are successful are implementing, what their plans are, how they work through their processes. That's really, really interesting and good stuff for them to take in.
So is it hard to get your top producers, say, to agree to do these kind of things? Like I imagine,
yes.
It wouldn't be very simple for a lot of offices to have this issue.
Yes, the higher production that they have, the shyer they are. So I've had to use some of my psychiatric nursing techniques to get them to agree. I'm good at manipulating them that way. But to help them and to provide the visuals and to put packages together for them and to role play their presentation. And then once they've done it once, they're willing to have another go at it then. It's just that initial time of public speaking for any person, I think, is the most difficult. But they're all willing to share. Sharing in a big forum, that's a little more challenging.
I love the idea of the rookie of the year. We had a rookie of the year last year too. So I'm writing it down because I think she'd be a great speaker and that she could share some good ideas. And I do want to get, it's interesting. I've never heard of somebody coming in to speak about specifically relationship building and stuff like that. So if you have that information, I'd love to get it from you because I think that's a great idea.
Yes, yeah. I'm happy to share that with you.
Some of the things we do outside the brokerage just to create some non-business related stuff. We've done the casino trip in a bus. We have actually one coming up we do annually with the Pam. We call it Pam Bucks. So Pam's our owner, and she has a nice house that she brings everybody to once a year for let's say a corporate barbecue, and she gives out Pam Bucks for every listing and sale and all that sort of stuff. So you get all this money throughout the 2 months of doing the sales that you can spend on. What they do is they wrap presents, and within the present is let's say a hidden gift. And it could be anything from toilet paper to a laptop, right? And so there's really good gifts and there's some not so good gifts. And we do, let's say the hint for the gift would be, this gift is out of this world. And then of course there'd be a Galaxy notepad, right? As the gift. So cool. People would bid on it and they think, oh, that sounds like a good one. And they don't know what they're getting and they open it up and find it, it's either a notepad or it's toilet paper. So it's a fun day, and it kind of gets everybody out of the office to do a social event.
And I think it's very important for our realtors to have a good social interaction with one another as well. I think some of the best exchanges happen while we're having fun. I know that corporately we do a lot when it comes to celebrating the production of our top salespeople. We do something in the early spring. It's called the Top Producer Luncheon, and I rent a big wedding bus, And this year we took everyone down to the wineries. So we had we went to Trias, we had lunch in the red wine cellar. And so we sampled wine the whole drive down and had lots of wine with our meal, and then drank lots of wine on the way back. So we got to really have some good times together. But those are the real fun events. And in the office, all year long, I hear people saying, I got to get on that bus this year. I just got to get on that bus this year. So, and I have a couple of salespeople that have been gracious. They have a beach home. They allow us to go have a beach party in the summertime. Those sorts of things are fun things for them to interact with. And then as a company, one of the things I'm most proud of is what we do in our Caring for Kids program. We do that over the Christmas holiday. We support 5 local schools in the Brampton area, and in Orangeville, we've picked a school. Collingwood, we've chosen 2 schools, and one in Wasaga Beach and Thornbury. And we provide for the families of children, not just for the children, for their families, groceries for the whole month of December. And we outfit the children with winter snowsuits, dress-up outfits, pajamas, and all of their wish list is totally bought for them. And we take it to the schools or to the homes. And I have like 75% turn up of my elves during that opportunity. We go out in a big caravan to all the schools. We cry together. We just reminisce about what a great thing we're doing for little children in need and families in need. And I think that's very important in an office for the whole group to feel like they're giving back to the community. It's what we all should be doing anyways, but to promote that, to really get into that, and to see, I've been blessed, let me bless somebody else. I think that really adds to our office culture.
That's great.
Sure. And it sounds like it would really bring together the agents too. I think those extracurriculars, for lack of a better term, are always a good idea. So I've got a question for both of you guys. Obviously, a lot of these events that you said are amazing, but some offices may not have, or at least the managers might not be able to justify spending the cost on something like, renting a bus to go down to wine country, or like hosting this a big event with a bunch of different prizes you can bid on. So do you guys have any sort of message for them? Because it's tough to see those tangible returns when you're spending that big money up front on a big event. Because you can say, well, if I skip that event, I could save X thousands of dollars, from a brokerage standpoint, right? So as a business owner, you'd have to say, well, I have to be able to justify that cost, and obviously it's one that's hard to measure. So do you guys have any sort of advice at all? I guess maybe start small even too.
Well, you can start small, but again, as we tell our salespeople to invest in your business, it's about marketing. We have to invest in our salespeople. And I believe that doing these events, yes, they're my out-of-pocket money, but the return I get, the wonderful competition to get on that bus for next year, I'm certainly reaping a benefit from that. But the overall benefit is that it just makes this a welcoming place. When I'm walking around with a recruit, people will say, oh, you got to be huggable if you want to work here. Oh, she's so great. She'll take such good care of you. That's the kind of feedback that I'm getting because I've done my investment in my people that I care about. I've shown it and they're giving back to me. So I just think any broker starts small. It can be an afternoon delight. You can take them out to a patio in the summer for just a glass of wine. You can do fundraising, for our Easter seals, send a kid to camp. I mean, those things make people feel good about themselves. And I think any way that you can start.
I think the charitable stuff's a good idea, especially start there because a lot of people don't mind, donating their time and efforts towards a good cause. And that does get people out, and it doesn't cost you anything, and people are donating their time. So there's some cost-cutting measures, but I do agree with Joanne. You have to invest in your business. When you're looking at your business model, one of the things you have to have in as one of your costs is going to be the social aspect and building your team and your culture and all the rest of it. So you have to have some budget there.
Yeah, got a bit of a story, I guess. When I first went to Joanne's Northern office meetings, it was a meeting for their Wasaga, Collingwood, Thornbury offices. I remember walking in, didn't really know what to expect. It was the first time I've ever been to their office before. And Joanne walks in with her entourage with a big box full of wine bottles. This was a breakfast meeting. I was like, what time do they start drinking up north here? I was very surprised, but then later I found out that those were actually gifts for like the top producers for the month or the season or whatever it was. So I was pleasantly surprised to find out I didn't have to call a cab to explain to my wife how I'm getting home.
Don't drink at breakfast. We just reward with wine at the breakfast meeting.
But it was
were you disappointed? You didn't get
Well, I had a long cab ride home if I was drinking that. Because I'm from Kingston, Collingwood. That's a long way to go. But yeah, I couldn't believe how excited the agents were they got to pick the kind of wine they wanted and such too, like red or white and such.
Great idea. I should be writing all these down.
Yes, we're all kids at heart. We like to win a prize.
That's for sure, and everyone appreciated it. It was a very welcoming and warm environment that I walked into there. So it was nice
Linas, it was great to have you at that meeting. And again, those sorts of things, when I'm bringing speakers in who bring value to the table, that's very important for me as the leader to do that. And bringing you into that meeting and exposing everyone to the Spotlight program, I've got to tell you, that has really made a difference in my office. I've had people comment, I don't need a listing presentation. I can just do my Spotlight presentation. I mean, it's made a really big difference. So they've thanked me, for having you come in to speak, for having the other speakers that I have come in. They really do appreciate, because it does make their knowledge base better, stronger for them. And it helps them. They're always looking for something that's going to give them an edge out there in the marketplace to compete. So I think that's really part of our job in management, is to make sure we're giving them every edge that we possibly can.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Well, thank you so much for the glowing review. I promise this is not a paid endorsement. Yeah, we always appreciate the pats on the back and such. So.
Yeah, well, you're very welcome.
Yeah. So is there anything else you guys want to add before we maybe move on to the next segment?
I just think you have to create a welcoming environment. I mean, we talk about office culture. I mean, we have 12 different languages, so many countries represented, so many religions represented. We're in a time these days where we're seeing so much division between people, but the ultimate thing is we should all feel welcomed, safe, and supported in our own environments. And I am proud, to be creating that environment in a workplace. We all need to create it in our worlds wherever we can to impact people like that. So it's top of mind for everyone these days. And I think it's our responsibility as leaders to set a good example of that. I always tell new people coming for an interview, everyone here is willing to help you. You just have to reach out. And sometimes you don't even have to reach out. They will offer anyways. But that's an expectation that I have in the office, is that you will help someone else. And I think that's a great, great office to work in.
I'd like to add one thing too, is we're talking about from the top down. I mean, it does come from the top down, but it's also important to have the key people in the positions that they're in, such as your front desk administration, anyone from the back administration that maybe they don't see every day, but they do take a lot of phone calls right up to your front desk, your first people you walk into the office and see. And sometimes difficult decisions are made to put friendly people in those positions, but it's so important to make sure that people are bought into the culture. And if they're not bought into the culture, that's okay. We'll get somebody that does buy in, and it just surround yourself with positive people, and positive people will sell more houses.
Absolutely.
Well, I definitely like the idea of having that kind of open, not having that kind of closed competitive bit that you're talking about too, that some agents typically have. You're worried about, keeping your secrets to yourself and such. And I think it's almost a very Canadian thing, especially you look at the international landscape just recently down in the States with their election, and over in Britain too with their whole Brexit vote and everything. Those fears coming into play with you got to close your doors and shut it down, kind of keep control to yourself. And I like that Canada's has a bit of a different stance to it, a bit more open and welcoming and such. And I guess that is part of our culture as a country, but it's also nice to see that's filtering down to our brokerages as well with you guys too. So
yes,
hi,
absolutely.
So I guess we'll conclude our main segment there, and we'll move into our final segment, the app of the week. So Eryn, do you want to intro your idea for the app of the week this week?
Okay, so this week we're actually going to talk about how to create your own app. Not actually creating your own app, but taking an existing website that's mobile friendly and being able to use it as an app. And what I mean by that is when you open your phone, whether it be an Android or an iPhone, you've got little icons and you consider them apps. Did you know that if you go on any website and on an iPhone, it's just the little box down in the bottom of the screen that has an arrow coming out of it? If you click on that little box, it'll say, what do you want to do with this web page? And you just say, save to home screen.
Yep.
And if you hit save to home screen, it creates an icon and essentially creates your own app.
Yep. And so many mobile websites are so like well designed nowadays too, because of how many people are using their mobile devices to browse the internet. So a lot of cases they don't have apps, or there might be a small site that they don't have the money to invest in an app. So that's a good way to do it. And you can do this on Android devices as well. If you're in your web browser, just hit the little menu button and there's a little add to desktop there. So you can just do that, or add to home screen, I guess. So yeah, it's a neat little trick, and it's one that I didn't even really consider too, but I'll definitely be adding some more stuff to my home screen. So
yeah, it's a great idea.
Yep. Okay, so
he's the tech king.
I'm not the king. I like the guru. How's that?
That works so well.
Learn new things.
Okay, so I guess we'll just wrap the show up here. So if you like the show, subscribe to our show on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, or wherever you find your podcasts online. And please don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on those sites. It really helps. You can watch this and past shows at spotlight.century21.ca/podcast. If you need to reach us, you can email us anytime at podcast@homeania.com. That's podcast at HOM as in Mary, EAN as in Nancy, IA.com. So this podcast was brought to you by the Spotlight Marketing Program, which Joanne gave a very glowing review to earlier. An exclusive marketing package available only to Century 21 agents in Canada. Spotlight provides agents with a comprehensive internet marketing strategy for their listings. We provide high-quality HDR photography, stunning HD video tours, a cutting-edge responsive website, and an extensive advertising system that will help sell your listing faster, sell them for more money, impress your clients, and generate leads. So find out why so many top agents are using Spotlight by visiting spotlight.century21.ca today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming out, Joanne. And everybody, we'll see you next week.
Welcome.
Good seeing you, Joanne.
Bye now.